Michael Courtney, 33 years of age, married, 5 children. Born in the roadshow business. Says he'll die in it. Maybe. Destination 24 Irish miles over rough roads from last night's stand. Had to pull up stakes after the third night. Business bad. Business very bad. When there are 15 mouths to feed, you move on fast to the next pitch. A backward look is enough to remind you of your responsibilities. Scenery like this, just something that moves outside the glass. Pleasant enough if you like that sort of thing, but who can live on scenery? This family believe they're the last show on the road. 3 generations embedded in a dying way of life. Playing their dramas under green canvas in every village, from Malin to Mizzen, Achill to Arklow. Fit-ups, a name that means what it says. Existence as portable as the props, travelling light, living in transit, always thinking of that next town just ahead.
The Courtney Brothers Playhouse and Variety Show are now playing in Carrickmore nightly at 8 o'clock. Doors open 8 o'clock, the curtain 8:45. Drama and variety at its best. The Courtney Brothers brings you a live show to Carrickmore, nightly at 8 o'clock. Tonight's play is The Blacksmith's Curse. Come early and secure your seats in time for this outstanding play, The Blacksmith's Curse. The building is well seated and well heated for your comfort. The Courtney Brothers Drama and Variety Show.
Funny thing happened to me on the road today. A bit of stuff. We were driving along in the car, and the car happened to go out of order. Of course, I knew it was wrong. It was radiator trouble. So lucky enough, I stopped and I got outside the car and I just left a bit of stuff in the car, and I went into the old farmer and he gave me a bucket of water, and I came out and patched up the radiator the best way I could. And I just got down off the bonnet and I had half a bucket of water left, and I walked 3 or 4 yards over the road and I threw the half a bucket of water over the ditch. Well, a fella stuck his head over the ditch, and the language of him was something desperate. I said, "Cut out the language, my dear man, cut it out." I said, "I've a lady here in the car. What do you think I have here, a water hen?" That reminds me, I always go down to Belfast for the weekend. I happened to be down there last weekend.
Same joke, different place name. You're the comedian off stage as well as on. And if the comedian isn't any good, the show's the same. Word of mouth, the cruelest bush telegraph going. So make them laugh now, and they'll be there tonight. All the goods on display in the first 5 minutes. Will they buy? Will they go on buying? A nightly ritual, doors open at 8 o'clock, but the show starts at 10. At their bidding, never yours. Up there under the grease paint, a family likeness, showmanship in the blood. Sylvester, the only outsider, billed as musical director, and of course Mammy, Mrs. C, 60-year-old hands firm on the purse strings. The family cut is three-way, 2 to Albert and Michael, 1 to herself and young Alice, 3 slices of the nightly cake. The fingers calculate how well they'll all eat.
It's a very unthankful job standing at the door, especially with a booth like ours. They think that you have a big crowding kind of thing, you know. Is that all? The boys will say to me, is that all that was in tonight, Mammy? Yes, that's all that was in tonight, I say. Of course, they call me the rogue. I'm the rogue. I'm at the door, and I do everyone I can. There's no boss in the show we're really. I can commend, but I'm not commending now. I'm not in charge. I've left the show to the Courtney brothers after he passed away in Ballinasloe, County Galway. And I had a good husband. He was a marvellous man. I raised a family, looked after them, and sent them to school every place we'd go to, like, you know. Only for being a family show, I don't suppose we'd be on the road, because I've got very good boys. And I think they're quite capable of running a show, the Courtney brothers. A lot of people think that you're living in caravans, you have nothing to do at all. We pull into a place, move in there, we try to get a line up for our washing, and perhaps there's no trees there, and we want to keep the washing as far as possible away from our tent. But a lot of people, they think we're living in luxury. But we're not living in luxury. We work very hard. I'm bored stiff with show business, and I haven't got enough of money. Still working hard. Winter and summer I work. You know that. Often got up out of a sick bed to work a show. Snow, sleet, ice, rain, storm. That's show business.
What do you laugh about?
Your first role comes at the age of 5, Little Willie in East Lynne.
You are?
But you're born a theatrical, an enclosed life, movable, moving, but confined by the tradition, the family.
How about you, Derek? Who do you want to be like? I felt like Daddy.
Your life is planned for you from the start.
Don't annoy your car. You don't need annoying it.
You never break away. You're different.
Has anyone got a spoon there for the baby, no?
Mona met Michael in the business. She accepts her difference from other women, accepts the double existence like her mother did, and her mother before that. What other life is there? Sylvester, the show's musical director,
We want a quicker.
a romantic in his own way, privately prefers Debussy to Delilah. Before the evening's over, will almost certainly play both. At the moment, he's between engagements. He has a weakness for the traveling life, comes back to it every summer.
Let's try it again, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's much better.
There's always someone to watch, to criticize, from the oldest and most experienced one of all, right down to the newest and youngest. When the time comes for your first performance, you're ready. You know what it's all about.
That's fine, right? That's good. We'll have Alice. What do you sing, Alice? Right, so. Try B flat. I think that's the key, right?
I cried all the way to the hotel. That's a bit high,
Fine. Well, you sang it. The last time you sang was in the same key. It's B flat.
Could you bring it down a little bit?
Right, so. B flat. We'll take it into A, so.
time I feel self-conscious is when I see an act coming on and it's unrehearsed. I could stand up and scream. I'm so sensitive about this. If an act goes on there and it hasn't been rehearsed, I think it's dreadful. I go round after the show and I eat the heads off them. I think it's the worst thing. If people don't care, let it be in the bogs of Ireland. If they're paying 3 and 6pence, 2 and 6pence, or even 1 and 6pence back here in these seats here, I don't care. They should get value for their money. They must get it.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll have. What are you singing tonight?
North to Alaska.
North to Alaska. Right.
See.
Rehearsal every morning at 11 o'clock, whether you like it or not. Self-imposed, but as fixed a ritual as the real thing at night. You sometimes wonder if it's worth it. Then think of the other shows that went off the road. Friends of yours, going thick and fast when the bad times came. They gave up trying long before their final curtain. So you work harder going through the numbers you think they like. A careful coaxing out every night. Sylvester is good for the morale of the show, despite his shows of temperament. A perfectionist, pushing, always pushing.
That's grand. Well, that's fine. I'll see you all tonight about 8:45. Okay?
Okay, that's good.
That's sure.
To me, as a musician, I can just get lost. People opposite to me, that was a wonderful background music you were playing for that play last night. What was it? What was the name of it? I can't remember. And I may not be able to play this thing again. It's just something.
Now it is time for our play of the evening. We present the truly blood-curdling drama. We hope that anyone with a nervous temperament will be warned.
Who's there?
It's Elizabeth, your fiancée.
Elizabeth, why the devil did she want to come here at a time like this? This is very awkward for me. But I suppose it is best to show a good face in a case like this. Come in.
Author unknown. That's if he ever did exist. There's no written script, none needed. Speech and action materialize briefly in the space of 3 acts. Tomorrow night, a new play. Any one of 3 to 4 dozen. They ride around in the head, a submerged weight of words.
Restore life into the body, it should act as a normal human being, except for the power of speech.
Once you create this man, how do you propose to keep him alive?
Well, like I say, Doctor, it should act as a normal human being. He'd walk and breathe, except in the slower, methodical way.
I get strangled in the next act, and I like the part, and the only thing that I have against it, I don't have enough time to make up.
This is Tom, youngest of the 3 brothers, and a persistent critic of how the show is run. He has never shared the other two's unquestioning acceptance of the life, the tradition. A year ago, he left to work in a dance band, said he'd never come back. But he did. For his mother, the family always wins. Survival is keeping together, and you never want to face the day when the show dies and the corpse is split 3 ways. But Tom still argues, still criticizes.
I'm not saying like that I want to get away from the family, but people, as you know yourself, people, when they're working together for so long and so on, you're bound to get one another's nerves. Perhaps someday I'll keep on the show business. I definitely will, but it will be in a different way, different approach to the whole business.
Now, Doctor and Elizabeth, I must ask you both to stand well back once we start the experiment, because there will be enough electricity coming through from the batteries to kill 12 people. You understand that, Doctor?
I understand.
All right, Fritz, are you ready?
Yeah, Master. Fritz ready.
Very well. Throw number 1 switch.
Number 1 switch, Master.
Number 2 switch.
Number 2 switch, Master.
Number 3 switch.
Number 3 switch, Master.
Number 4 switch.
Number 4 switch, Master.
Nothing happens. Number 5 switch.
Number 5 switch, Master.
Throw the master switch.
The master switch. I've done it. I've done it.
A table, a chair, a white sheet. Imagination does the rest. Tonight it's Transylvania, tomorrow night a London drawing room. In old man Courtney's day, the props drew gasps of wonder. Change. It's a curious life, really, attempting the impossible nightly, to read meanings behind all these faces.
I wonder where they all are. I can't find my mummy anywhere. She wasn't at the wedding. My mummy and Dr. Frankenstein are good friends and good doctors too.
Echoes of horror from the local cinema for your teenage audience. Pleasurable fear on the dark country roads afterwards.
Who are you? You must be the new gardener.
The older people prefer melodrama with less butchery, less noise. Tomorrow night, then, East Lynne. A motherless child, a fallen woman, deathbed repentance, not a dry eye in the house.
Blood and murder. Love it. That's the sort of a part that when we put it on first, everybody was wondering, like, who's going to do the best in this. Monster has the best part, of course. He hasn't much lines, but he gets through it just the same. But it's nice to get a new play and get the parts out, and it's a new interest for you. You're putting your mind to something new and you say, I wonder how will this go, you know. If I see the audience faces, I feel more happier. I look down and see the audience like, well, it's a different atmosphere altogether. Like, if you're working with, say, and you have a really good audience that's interested in the play, well, if all lights are out in the booth, you're looking into darkness sort of thing, and it's just like, to me, it's like walking to empty seats sort of.
The heroine is always young and always beautiful. It didn't matter so much about the other victims, but with her it's, look out, behind you. But she never seems to hear, not even when it's too late. But she's too beautiful to die. Her husband, off stage as well as on, is at hand. Evil is defeated, right reigns, but at enormous cost, as usual. The pattern is always the same, must be the same. The audience allows no deviation. They've been paying to see the same theme and treatment for 3 generations.
Terrible night. Yes, ma'am.
An echo on a stage, under lights, of what life is still really about. Your job is basically reassurance.
Yes, a worthless experiment it was indeed. Dr. Hoffman was right. You can't fight God and win. And I should have known better than to try and go against God. Because God alone rules the universe.
Off they go, them, the punters. The young ones usually stay and talk to you afterwards. You're something strange, outlandish in their lives. They said they liked the show, but you'll know tomorrow night for sure. They can do without you, but you can never do without them. Now they no longer exist. So you close the door and step back into your own world. A smell of canvas, crushed grass. No life. Dead. Sad too, in a way. It always feels as if it's the last performance.